So, with Orzammar out of the way and Shale and Ogren as well, I'm gonna move on. Morrigan,
Indeed.
Yes.
Sevran, Ogren. There's one thing I'll admit with regards to one choice I made, Haven. The biggest reason I actually did that choice, like my canon, was not to destroy the Ashes and kill Colgrim and all of that, and the High Dragon. The reason I did it is mostly curiosity. I just don't give a fuck about Dragon Age anymore, and that choice never actually sat well with me. It's either, oh, you either go through the temple, kill everyone, including Colgrim, for a bunch of ashes, or you go through the temple and then you kill everyone but Colgrim and a few guys. Yeah, that's so much better, right? Either way, I'm not particularly happy about this quest. I think it's actually one of the worst main quests in the entire fucking game. Like, hey, let's go retrieve this fucking urn for 1 Arl so we can get political support against Loghain. Really? How about you make your fucking protagonist proactive enough so that he doesn't or she doesn't need fucking Eamon to deal with Loghain? Just a thought, Bioware. Anyway. Here we
Stop
are.
right there, outsider. The Dalish have camped in this spot. I suggest you go elsewhere, and quickly.
Actually, I've been looking for the Dalish.
I find that hard to believe. What business could we Dalish possibly have with a group like yours?
I'll tell that to your leader and no one else.
Seeing as you are obviously no simple trespasser, I will leave it to the Keeper to decide the importance of your business. In the camp, I suggest you keep your hands to yourself, and remember that our arrows are still trained on you. Follow me.
Thank you for the warm welcome, I guess.
I see we have guests. Who are these strangers, Mithra? I have precious little patience and less time to spend on outsiders today.
I understand, but this one claims to have important business with our people.
I see. Tell me, stranger, what business could you possibly have with us? We have our own issues we must deal with, as you can see.
I came representing the Grey Wardens. Like, some of these responses should probably get you killed, and through Bioware's style, even if I pick the idiotic answers, nothing will happen. The story must go on, right? Yeah.
You might have simply said so to begin with. Masirinus, Mithra. You may return to your post.
Manuvinen, Keeper.
Now, allow me to introduce myself. I am Zathrian, the keeper of this clan, its guide and preserver of our ancient lore. And you are?
My name is Doran. A pleasure to meet you.
If you came to bring news of the Blight in the south, it is not needed. I had already sensed its corruption. I would have taken the clan north by now, had we the ability to move. Sadly, as you can see, we do not. I imagine you are here regarding the treaty we signed centuries ago. Unfortunately, we may not be able to live up to the promise we made. This will require some explanation. Please, follow me. The clan came to the Brecillian Forest 1 month ago, as is our custom when we enter this part of Ferelden. We are always wary of the dangers in the forest, but we did not expect the werewolves would be lying in wait for us. They ambushed us, and though we drove the beasts back, much damage was done. Many of our warriors lie dying as we speak. Even with all our magic and healing skill, we will eventually be forced to slay our brethren to prevent them from becoming beasts. The Blight's evil must be stopped. But we are in no position to uphold our obligations. I am truly sorry.
Is there no way... sorry. Is there no way to help your men?
The affliction is a curse that runs rampant in their blood, bringing great agony and then ultimately either death or a transformation into something monstrous. The only thing that could help them must come from the source of the curse itself. And that would be no trivial task to retrieve.
You're talking about a werewolf.
No, but it is the one who made these werewolves come to be. Within the Brecillian Forest dwells a great wolf. We call him Witherfang. It was within him that the curse originated, and through his blood that it has been spread. If he is killed and his heart brought to me, perhaps I could destroy the curse. But this task has proven too dangerous for us. I sent some hunters into the forest a week ago, but they have not returned. I cannot risk any more of my clan.
You said you could perhaps destroy the curse?
There is no guarantee that this will work, as I suspect. But it's the only hope we have left.
I'll find this Witherfang for you.
I must warn you that more than werewolves lurk in the Brecillian Forest. It has a history full of carnage and murder, you see. Where there is so much death, the veil separating the spirit realm from our own becomes thin, allowing spirits to possess things, living or dead. But if you can indeed help, then I wish you luck.
I have some questions for you.
Make them quick, if you please. I have much to do here. My apprentice Lanaya or Sayrel, the clan's storyteller, could provide you with answers just as easily.
How do I find Witherfang? Do you have any advice?
Watch for the white wolves. They are his eyes and ears in the forest.
Tell me more about this curse the hunters suffer from.
There is not much to say. It stemmed originally from Witherfang, but now any werewolf may infect someone with it.
How do you know if you have been infected by the curse?
You will know within a matter of days. You will begin to sweat and vomit, and most tellingly, your temper will become wild and uncontrollable. If that happens to you, you should seek out Witherfang even more swiftly. Your mission at that point will be rather personal.
How did this curse start?
That is a long tale I do not have time to tell. Ask Sayrel about it if you wish.
I want to ask about something else.
Go on then. I must return to caring for my people. Creator's speed on your way.
Right.
Please leave that be. If
Yeah, that's a bit of experience.
This should be easy enough.
Andera Natishan, stranger. I am Athras. I hope the others have not been too harsh in their treatment of you.
They've been a bit suspicious.
That's like saying that Dender Rash is a bit itchy. You'll tear the skin off your arse and be glad you did it.
It is not our intention to insult a Grey Warden. We are simply wrapped up in the plight of our hunters. It is easy to forget simple niceties at such a time. I understand you will search for the wolves in the Brecillian Forest. I would join you, but Zathrian has forbidden me.
You don't seem very happy about that.
None of us are happy about this situation, and I least of all. But I shouldn't speak too much about this, especially with an outsider. I am sure you have little interest in my problems.
Please, I'd like to hear about it.
It's odd to talk so freely with a stranger, but perhaps you can help me. My wife Dalish and I both fought the werewolves in the ambush. She was injured so gravely, the curse spread rapidly in her. Zathrian fought hard to ease her pain, but there was little he could do. And though he says that Dalish is dead, he will not let me see her body. I am beginning to believe she became a werewolf, and that it is being kept from me so I do not go chasing after her. If I could just know if Delilah is alive or what happened to her, then I could be at peace.
I'll seek her out in the forest.
I have an amulet made by our craftsman. It's not much, but I would be happy to give it to you in return for any news.
As you wish. On it.
Master Verathorn keeps us very busy. It takes many decades to master
Right.
even what
Let's get started.
little we know of the old crafts.
What are you doing? You've warped the wood completely. Did you leave it out in the rain?
No, Master Verathorn, I think I just used too much heat.
You're not smelting ore like a Durgenlin. This is living wood. It requires patience and delicate hands, not more heat.
Elves and their wood shaping. It's unnatural. Why use wood when you got perfectly good metal and stone?
Spoken like a true child of the stone, my friend.
Who you calling a child, old man?
My actions bring me sorrow, Master Verathorn.
And so they should. Truly the art will be lost to us forever at this rate. Throw away your dead wood and start anew, and I shall speak to our guest. Now then, please forgive my distraction, stranger. Is there something that you need?
I would like to barter with you.
I am no merchant, but let us trade. Perhaps there's something here which will be of value to you.
Yes, there is something of value to me. Namely that. And that. Okay.
What do you wish?
Yeah. Let me buy some more elf fruit. Okay.
Elves turning into werewolves, huh? Walking on the wild side.
My mother was Dalish. They are a proud people. How to defeat.
But...
What say you? By all means.
What is your opinion of the Dalish?
I know little enough of the Dalish other than the fact that my mother was one, or so I was told. She had fallen in love with an elven woodcutter and accompanied him back to the city, leaving her clan behind for good. And there, of course, the woodcutter died of some filthy disease and my mother was forced into prostitution to pay off his debts. Oldest tale in the book.
Zevran, that's actually horrible, you know.
Is it? It seemed normal enough a tale growing up. No different than the other elven boys in the whorehouse. I didn't know my mother either, of course. She died giving birth to me. My first victim, as it were. We were all raised communally by the whores. It was a happy enough existence, ignoring the occasional beating. Until eventually I was sold to the crows. I brought a good price, so I hear.
And yet you're oddly cheerful about it all.
It could have been much worse. Shall I tell you about what happened to the other whorehouse boys who did not fetch a decent price with the crows? Surely your life has not been so idyllic. People like you and I are not the product of happy lives of contentment, after all.
You can say that again.
My original point is that my mother's Dalish nature was always a point of fascination for me. Through all the years of my crow training, the one thing of my mother's that I possessed was a pair of gloves. They were of Dalish make, I knew that much, and beautiful. I had to keep them hidden, of course, as we were not allowed such things. Eventually, they were discovered, and I never saw them again.
But how do you feel about the Dalish in general?
I don't feel anything about them. Oh, we heard about them in the city, even deep in Antiva. I even had the notion once to run off and join them. Naturally, the reality did not live up at all to the fantasies I had constructed as a boy, staring at those gloves. But such is life. Come, enough talk of the Dalish. Let us move on.
Okay.
This won't take long.
That's a love letter. I think I can buy some gloves from him.
What do you wish? I am no merchant.
Those are gloves, but I'm fairly certain they wouldn't work.
What do you wish?
What exactly do you make here?
I'm the clan's craftsmaster. It's my responsibility to learn what I can of the ancient elven arts of shaping wood and ore. In truth, we Dalish know little of the art compared to what we once did. And even what we know has taken us many lifetimes to achieve. There is wood that, if treated properly, is as hard as steel but far lighter. It grows only in this forest. Ironbark. The keeper has forbidden us from entering the forest to collect the wood. This means I cannot make our finest crafts for years to come.
What if I found some bark for you?
I would be hesitant to ask it of you, but if you should come across ironbark, I suppose there would be no harm in gathering some. It is blue and very distinctive. You can only harvest the bark which has fallen off the tree from age. Now, if you find some, bring it to me, and I will craft it for you.
What kind of item would you make?
I excel in making blades from the ironbark, or perhaps a breastplate. Provided there's enough wood, that is.
Very well. I'll take a look when I'm in the forest.
That would please me. So long as our hunters come first. Gareth
As you wish. On it. As you wish.
Underanitation, Grey Warden. My name is Lanaya. I am Zathrian's first, what you might call an apprentice, perhaps. I've been studying under the Keeper all my life. I am a bit curious of the outside world. Do you mind if I ask you a question or two?
If you like, go ahead.
I hear the human cities are very large, thousands upon thousands of souls all packed together in their houses. Is that true?
Yes, some are larger than the eye can see.
How very loud that must be with everyone talking all at once. I try to imagine those of our people living in such a place, surrounded by walls of stone and indifference. It is a difficult thought.
It isn't an easy life for them, that's true.
I suppose you have met many of my kind in your travels. My heart goes out to them. It is said that one day we will have a land of our own. We Dalish gather the ancient wisdom in preparation for this. When that day comes, all elves, even those who have forgotten, will reclaim their former glory. I have one more question, though I'm not sure you can answer it. Do the humans ever regret what they did to us?
I think some of them do. Not all humans are the same.
And yet, even if some regret, they do nothing. A poet once wrote of them before the fall of the Dales. Like dragons they fly, glory upon wings. Like dragons, they savage, fearsome, pretty things. But you don't need me to quote poetry to you. Forgive me. Perhaps you have some questions of your own.
What can you tell me about Zafrian?
Nothing that you could not ask Zathrian himself. He is the keeper of this clan and has been for a very long time. He is also a very good man who has lost much. The Dalish are everything to him, and he would do anything to protect them.
Lost much? What has he lost?
He lost his family a very long time ago. I don't know the story, but I understand the circumstances were horrific.
Why are the Dalish so hostile?
They have reason. Since the days of Arlathan, my people have been either subjugated or homeless.
What is this Arlathan you mention?
It was our ancestral home, long ago when the humans first came to these lands. We were free then, and immortal. We did not know how to deal with the humans, and in the end, they turned their power against us and destroyed Arlathan. Our ancestors were enslaved, and our culture lost forever.
But the elves were eventually freed, right?
Yes. After a millennium of slavery, our people were freed by Andraste, the human's prophet who spawned the Chantry.
Does Arlathan still exist?
Not to my knowledge. According to the old tales, the human mages sank Arlathan into the ground, crushing it beneath the rock.
Didn't Arlathan fight back?
The Tevinter Imperium was a force to be reckoned with. It was ruled by mages with powerful blood magic. Though Arlathan fought, they lost.
Elves were immortal then.
They died, but not of an aged body as other races do. Not until the humans came. According to the legends, association with humans caused us to quicken. Our blood sped, and we began to age. So we avoided them naturally. And then we were enslaved by them for 1,000 years. And in so doing, we all were quickened permanently and our immortality destroyed. Or so the old tales say.
But you could get your lifespan back, no?
In time and with seclusion. We Dalish have lengthy lifespans, and they will get longer. Zathrian himself has lived many centuries, though that is unusual even for us.
I can see why you resent humans then.
Shemlen, we call them. Quick children. I suppose it takes a certain arrogance to look upon another people as children, no? Perhaps we should be more heedful of our own role in Arlathan's loss. Even so, it was a bitter lesson to learn. One we are not grateful for.
Anyway.
Certainly. As you wish. Darth
Yeah.
Shiro.
Okay, so that's the Dalish camp. Essentially, there's still a storyteller, but everything he says has no real value, essentially. But then again, you know, I've shown dialogue which has no real value for a long time to the main story. But I'm not gonna show some fucking story about Dales or Arlathan. So essentially, the story goes, a millennium ago, the elves ruled the surface of Phaedas. When I say Phaedas, I mean the entire continent beyond Ferelden. I don't actually have a map in game. It's on the wiki at any rate. Then the Tevinter Imperium came and they conquered the entire land and made the elven race their slaves. Then after the First Blight, as the Tevinter Imperium was still recovering from fighting off the First Blight, Andraste rose up, created an army from barbarians of the south, elves that she freed, and she pretty much smashed the Imperium. And to a point though, the Imperium army started retreating, they were regrouping, and Andraste's husband, whose ghost I actually met, a betrayer sold her off to the Imperium, and he struck a peace deal with the Imperium. His sons, however, killed him for it when they found out, and they founded Orlais and Ferelden. So that's the story of the humans. But the elves play a role in this because the elves, for helping Andraste, were given the Dales. And the Dales coexisted sort of peacefully with Ferelden and Orlais, because the Dales are between Orlais and Ferelden, essentially. Between Orlais and the Frostback Mountains, if you want a specific point. And until I think it was Second Blight, until an elven army, and Montsemard actually was under siege by the Darkspawn, and an elven army stood and did nothing. That caused resentment among the humans. And then a border war eventually erupted between... actually, I don't think it was the Second Blight. I don't remember exactly when it was. But at any rate, Montsemard was under siege by Darkspawn during a Blight, and they got... an elven army stood and did nothing to help the city, even though they were supposedly allies. And that pissed off the Orlesians, and for bloody good reason. And then eventually a border war erupted, as I said. I think it's pretty sketchy as to who actually started that, either the elves or the humans. But, you know, personally, I think the elves were to blame for starting the war, essentially, because yes, they did let the Darkspawn essentially slaughter the humans in Montsemard, while they could have intervened and stopped the Darkspawn there. And the war erupted on the borders of Dales, between border towns of humans. The humans have this version that the Dalish raided several border towns next to the Dales, and Orlais responded. Then the elves rallied and crushed Orlais, took Val Royeaux, and then the Chantry declared an exalted march against the Dales. And the Dalish were pushed back, and they eventually lost the war. Anyway, that's it. Costin here, signing out.